"30 years ago, boys, a little film called Demolition Man totally predicted the future."
Yeah, it's uncanny, isn't it? It's uncanny.
I think the thing that's most scary is that it's meant to be like a parody of the
Yes.
future,
Yeah.
but it's kind of nailed on.
Exactly, it is. I mean, if you can rewind 30 years and think about how, when you were watching that as a kid, how ridiculous that society seemed to you. Like I said, it's like a parody. I think it's all based on that Back to the Future 2 thing, because that was 2015, wasn't it? And the technological, advancements they'd made in 2015 in Back to the Future 2 were way off,
Yeah.
So I
Your
don't-
hoverboard.
your hoverboard and your flying cars and self-drying jackets and all this,
What a gift for a self-drying jacket.
hydrating pizzas. Gonna quickly hydrate a pizza if only. Why haven't they done that yet, man?
We're nearly there with the autonomous cars. to be
Well,
honest.
yeah. But this, obviously the cryo technology will put that to one side, But it's frightening how you can draw so many comparisons with today's sort of liberal society, let's call it.
Yes.
Getting fined for using bad words, and they never really touch on it because but what would happen if they didn't pay that fine in the movie? They'd probably go to prison, and that's what we're seeing nowadays. You say the wrong thing and you're in jail, man.
I haven't watched it for a long time.
Really?
I'd say it's been at least 8 years since I watched it.
But did you find yourself remembering every little detail?
Oh yeah, of course I remembered it. But the strange thing is, this might be, this last viewing, the most I've ever enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
Cinema is so awful right now that Demolition Man seems like a gold nugget.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew it was a good movie and I always enjoyed
Yeah.
it, but I enjoyed it massively when I watched it most recently.
Well, I think the one thing is as well, it's like touching on what we already said, is that the more it becomes like the modern day, the more prescient and, a piece of filmmaking that it was, and you appreciate it more, just based on that, don't you?
Kind of like, in a weird way, kind of like Starship Troopers in a way, you appreciate that more as it ages,
It definitely worked for me really well this time. I think the setting itself,
San Andreas.
San Andreas, isn't it?
San Angeles.
San
San
Angeles,
Angeles, that's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I read apparently that was originally going to be the title of LA in Blade Runner.
Oh,
Was
right,
the
okay.
original plan.
I never knew that. The San Angeles, yeah.
So,
they like having these little plays on movies, like Big Hero 6. If you've ever seen that, it's San Tokyo. Is it San Tokyo or something? Have you never seen Big Hero 6?
No.
And all the other 5.
Yeah.
It's animated. Yeah.
It's just one movie.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't think they really had to do much work to LA itself to make it like the production design is good, but at the same time, it feels like this world could exist as far as the architecture is concerned.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a leap.
If you took, we get back to it, if you took away all the technology that's in the movie and just and placed it in a real life 2022, is it that different to what's going on now?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. You've got your people thinking that they're living in this utopian society, that everywhere's safe and everywhere's, we can't have normal biological sex anymore and all this kind of, everybody's created in these birthing centers and all this kind of things, and but really they're all living a lie, I think it's very close.
Well, that's it. The bad guy Cocteau, played by Nigel Hawthorne, who apparently detested being in this film. I'm
Really?
not really surprised. Apparently he didn't get on with Stallone or Wesley Snipes.
Oh, well, they're kind of different actors.
He basically wants to end free speech and freedom. And like Edgar Friendly, played by Dennis Leary, is sort of the, I suppose you'd call the alt-right of his time. I don't know.
He would be called alt-right nowadays,
Yeah.
Who's just fighting for freedom and to do what they want, What's that quote he uses? He uses it
When he has his rant.
Yeah, he's we're gonna go.
When he does his stand-up, Pash.
He wants to run naked through the streets.
Yeah, the right to do that, but the argument from the establishment, the status quo, is that leads us to violence, and all these things that are classed as degenerative, and like when they go into the museum, like, this is what happened in the 90s before we had all this, high society. You got streets that are on fire and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, Did Predator 2 cross your mind at the start of this film?
Predator 2, well, the Predator 1 and 2 are never far from
Well,
mine.
it opens on LA. That's set a few years from the time it was filmed, where it's become an absolute war zone.
yeah.
It did kind of make me think of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe someone watched Predator 2 because his captain back in 1996 is played by Steve Gahan, who's the captain from Lethal Weapon, who is also in Predator 2 in the opening scene. And it's like, to me, it's like someone took a generic like action movie and like just sent it to the future, because everything about like Stallone's character, even the title Demolition Man, has really no bearing on the plot of this movie.
Yeah, no.
That's just his nickname from '96.
Yeah, which they just kind of threw in there.
Because you get that opening scene with his captain shouting at him like you've seen in 1,000 other movies. And it's just like, it's like the future sort of intrudes on it. You know.
Yeah.
I
We're
love-
going to freeze you for this shit.
I think the opening's so classy though, as the credits come up over the freezing.
I love the
seems-
opening, and I love how it's tied in, sort of in contrast to the end. Because at the beginning, they're having this 1v1 showdown or whatever, and it's all the building's on fire. It's all everything's like heat and everything. At the end, it's all about freezing, cold. I think it's a nice little tie-in, a nice little
Bookend.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes. Is this Wesley Snipes' best movie? I mean,
Probably not.
Blade aside, probably.
Well, he's not on the same level of a Clarence Bodica, but he gets that really evil, very dangerous feeling down.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought Wesley Snipes' character is amazing. I thought
He is one of the best villains.
if we were picking out a standout performance for this movie, it would have gone to Wesley Snipes without a
Definitely
shadow of doubt.
I don't think it's one of Sly's best performances. He's good and he works in the movie, but I sort of got the impression I don't think he was entirely convinced it was going to be a good film.
Yeah.
While he was making it, he likes it in retrospect. but-
Yeah. But at the time, he was probably thinking this is going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
And again, I'll bring it back to movies like Starship Troopers, maybe even RoboCop. They thought these aren't going to work.
Yeah.
Because they're satire, they're all this, and they just thought probably not. I mean, he doesn't pull out a Rocky performance, that's for sure. But he again, I couldn't imagine anybody else being, John Spartan. Yeah.
Did you know that Jack Black is in Demolition Man?
Yes, he is.
Is he? So what did he?
In a very, very early role,
Is he?
yeah.
Underground, like.
Yeah, he's one of Edgar Friendly's kind of men.
No way! I didn't know that.
I didn't remember that Jesse Ventura's in it.
Yeah, he's one of the criminals that he brings up.
But that's the crazy thing is he's got prominent billing in the credits if you see at the start.
Is he?
Because he was meant to have a fight scene with Stallone that was cut out of the film. But talking about things that like either got cut out or what, his daughter originally does appear in the film.
Yeah, I read this earlier, and the test audiences hated it because he was apparently ended up sleeping with someone the same age as his daughter.
Oh.
Despite the fact that if he's been frozen, then he's the fucking same age as his daughter.
Yeah.
So what a stupid argument.
Yeah.
But logically, most people think that Huxley is going to turn out to be his kid. I mean,
Well, 'cause
That
she's-
would have been great.
yeah.
man.
They had virtual sex with one another. Yeah. Oh my god.
Rob Schneider should have appeared again. And he said, "We've done a DNA test.
Yeah.
You're related."
You're related. She's your daughter, and then even more rotten when he just goes, "I don't care." I did like Huxley's character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she's good.
yeah. It was originally Laurie Petty. She filmed for a few days, and they got rid of her.
They got rid of her.
Probably a good
Sandra
idea.
Bullock. Yeah, it's a good. I like Sandra Bullock. Nowadays, if you watch it, I bet you know nowadays sort of liberals and wokies. Is he a misogynist for zapping her at the end and putting her asleep so he you got to keep you safe?
Well, technically, he's a misogynist just by being alive, Ash.
Yeah, but just the fact that he's got a penis between his legs makes him a misogynist,
God
right?
damn! Cancel the movie. Cancel Demolition Man.
Cancel the fucking HD remake.
Oh dear.
Apparently, they were really worried. Like Joel Silver, the producer, again, how many amazing films has he made? He was very concerned that they consider Wesley Snipes' character to be a racist, jab. Apart from the old cop that just happens to be there.
Yeah.
Is he the only other black person in the film?
I mean, there's probably a few black
In the
extras
background,
in the
like, yeah,
background,
yeah.
but no characters with dialogue. I wouldn't have said. Are there a few that, you know, when he resurrects, when Wesley Snipes starts resurrecting criminals from the past, I'm pretty sure there are a few.
Yeah.
But you're right, yeah.
But no, Snipes turned around and he said, "What? Racist? You seen how much they're paying me?"
You see how many taxes I'm dodging on this?
Because we can't really talk about the director of this movie very much, Marco Brambilla. It was his first film, as far as I know, first of two. I think the only other film he made was one called Excess Baggage with Alicia Silverstone.
Right.
Do you remember
Never
that
heard of
classic?
it. And that was the only movies he ever directed?
Yeah, he was in the art world, and Joel Silver, being a big art fan, thought that this guy would be good for making an action blockbuster. Wow. I mean, obviously he was right.
Well, yeah. He doesn't have that feel of a director's first outing.
Yeah, it
as a
certainly
director.
doesn't. No,
Definitely
no.
not.
I would never have thought it was his first and one of his only films.
I'm like, if this is Hollywood, I don't want it.
Yeah, but if we can't credit Marco Brambilla, I think the secret weapon of this film that no one's ever really acknowledged is one of the writers, Daniel Waters. He came on late and he did the shooting draft essentially, and it was him who put in all the subversive humour. He came up with the character names. Like Huxley is named after Aldous Huxley, who wrote Brave New World.
Well, greetings, Lenina Huxley.
And he came up with the Three Seashells.
Okay.
Because he was working on the script and he thought, what would be cool? He was trying to think what would be good in a futuristic bathroom. So he phoned his screenwriter friend, Larry Karaszewski, who wrote Ed Wood. And he said, what should I put in this futuristic bathroom? What do you have in your bathroom? Said he was looking around and said, we've got some ornamental seashells.
Yeah. And that's where it came from.
Apparently so.
I mean,
a guy who didn't even work on the movie.
just came up with, and that's probably what this movie's mostly remembered for, isn't it? I'd say.
Yes.
How do the Three Seashells work?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's have that
It
debate.
is the question, isn't it?
What?
He doesn't know how to use the Three Seashells.
Yeah, there's Rob Schneider in it. Yeah, he's laughing at him like. Yeah. I mean, how do you use them? I always thought you use the seashells to wipe your ass and then clean them off.
Well, I always just assumed it's like they'd open up and like soap would come out of them or something, and it's like one's like a clean one that you rub your ass with.
Yeah.
This argument will go on to the end of time because they left it open-ended.
Everyone has a different idea of how they work.
You can't pick what your movie's going to be remembered for. It's just good that the movie is still talked about today, you know. And I think if it's about how you'd wipe your ass with a fucking seashell, then happy days.
No. Daniel Waters, I think we have to give him the credit for this movie ultimately, because all the subversive satire of it is definitely from him. And the original screenwriter apparently absolutely detests him. Apparently they crossed paths at the premiere because he turned his film into a comedy essentially.
Oh, okay.
But there's a bit of controversy that maybe he stole the whole thing from
a Hungarian novelist. Yeah, I read this
right,
earlier.
yes.
Yeah. This Hungarian novelist had wrote a novel about was it like a terrorist and a counter-terrorist, and they were both frozen in time for 20 years. And when they came up, they awoke to a world where violence had been expunged somehow.
That's a bit uncanny.
Yeah.
Yes,
there's definitely
A lot of similarities.
yeah, some
there.
parallels definitely.
Yeah, apparently they worked out that somewhere in the region of 70%
Yeah,
was
that
in
was
this
it, yeah.
book.
There's nothing new under the sun, is there, at all? And there's obviously degrees. It's like you can't obviously do something word for word, shot for shot. But then again, you start getting into the kind of nebulous. How different is different? Like how much is the same? And yeah, I can certainly understand that it's a very difficult area.
But 70%. It's a bit sketchy, that. You know, you can account for a few bits and bobs there, but fuck it up.
If you can quantify it in percentages like that every time, then yeah, 70% is definitely too much.
But, I mean, yeah, I'm just happy the movie got made.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, I want to talk about this, yeah.
You could make a film about the franchise wars if you wanted to.
Yeah, because wasn't it originally Pizza Hut?
No,
it was the other way around.
It was Taco Bell, then he went to Pizza Hut.
Peter's up for international releases, I think.
Okay, right.
All they did is redub the dialogue, so it says pizza instead of Taco Bell. But when they actually go to Taco Bell, they didn't change that for Pizza Hut. So
I did that because I know that there was some Taco Bell logos on there.
Yeah.
They never changed it to Pizza
All
Hut.
they did was change the dialogue.
So I don't know the.
Mate, I'm the same as you because I definitely remember the logo being
Yeah,
the Pizza
on the
Hut
window,
logo,
yeah.
visually speaking.
Yeah.
So what? Let's talk about that because I don't understand exactly what went on there.
Well,
I knew it happened.
It's obviously different in different cuts and releases, isn't it? So it kind of gets
Well, I'm going to say I don't think that version is available since like VHS. I mean, that was back in the day. I mean, that was only for us because we don't have.
Yeah,
Taco
that's
Bell.
it. Yeah,
But
it's obviously a very limited version
Yeah,
that we watched.
yeah.
so of course it was very, very controversial at the time because it was probably the first example of the most blatant
Product placement.
advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Not as awful as say the latest Power Rangers movie where they keep going to.
They're still making Power Rangers.
They keep mentioning Dunkin' Donuts, and the climax happens around Dunkin' Donuts, and then when they succeed, they go for some Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow.
Just in
fucking
case
no,
you
no
don't know.
placement there
Right.
at all.
Did they fund the whole film or something?
I mean, the Americans do love Dunkin' Donuts. I've been to a few Dunkin' Donuts over there. It's pretty good.
I don't think I've ever had one. Dunkin' Donut.
No.
I mean, product placement's out of control now, isn't it?
Yeah. Do we have a favourite scene?
I think my favourite scene is the museum scene.
Oh yeah, mine as well.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
think we're
first-
all in agreement there. To be
It's
honest.
the first big action scene that we see after the opening scene to between Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man and Demolition Man and John Spartan. And it's just it's one that I remember and it sticks in my mind. I mean, there's some very good action scenes throughout the thing, but it's just a museum scene. But if for nothing else, but when he smashes Wesley Snipes to the TV,
And I love the fact that they've got like the old city street below as well.
Yeah.
And that's cool, man.
yeah, it's just kind of a signifying how below that era was to the era that they
Yeah.
perceive to be today.
Yeah.
And of course, the street's on fire. You know, like again, just like
After 40 years, it's still on fire.
Yeah. So we're all agreed that the museum scene's your favourite.
Yeah,
I think so.
definitely. I
think
love
so.
it.
I can't think of any other scenes that are standout scenes. I like the finale. I really do like the finale when they're in the cryo facility. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I like the way that Snipes gets frozen again and he just boots his head off.
Yeah.
And does he deliver a punchline?
Heads up.
That's it. Have you got a least favourite scene?
The sex scene, man, that's
Yeah, it
just
is
fucking weird,
It is
man.
weird.
Yeah, you don't need it, and it's also how is it sex? Do you know?
It's like, yeah, how are
they-
people then at that time finding that enjoyable? It's
Yeah,
like,
there are limits to what you can get away with saying, right, we're going to the future, and right, this is acceptable. I don't think society will ever accept that as sex properly, you know, like it's just virtual reality. And from all I can see, it's just a load of flashing lights, like a techno
it's like he's in a fucking rave.
Yeah, and it's just like,
isn't it?
it's just it is weird. And I also think, and you might be shocked to see this, but I also think that, or hear this, sorry to say, the one scene, or the one part of a scene that I think is completely unwarranted is when he gets a wrong number. Call him.
Oh, right, yes.
And it's just a woman with the tits out. Even as a kid, when I, like seeing boobs is like, I always thought, it just seems thumbed in there.
That's because it was.
Yeah, it's like this movie didn't need boobs.
Maybe,
we got them anyway.
maybe we're getting old if that's a problem for us.
Maybe, but they were pixelated. Is it AT&T boobs?
It's another thing that it's predicted as well. It's like video
Oh, yeah.
calling. That.
Oh yeah, well, I don't think that was the first movie. Did it? You know?
I suppose Star Trek would have been doing that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, for 20, 30 years leading up to that.
I think I could personally cut out the obsession with advert jingles as well.
Advert.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Again, that's weird. It's like surely classical music would be okay. You know what I mean? Something actual fucking music.
Oh, you're talking about that armoured hot
The
dog.
armor hot dogs. Yeah.
Armoured hot dog. You know what?
I suppose if he still remembers it 20 years, 30 years later, then it was obviously doing something right, wasn't it?
I have not. I'm gonna be honest here. I've been walking around my flat today just singing it because I know I've been doing Demolition Man. Armoured hot dog, singing it to my cats and shit, man.
Do you think Benjamin Pratt likes that scene?
No. The one that
dork?
the one that just turns
The annoying one.
the one that gets converted to the alt right at the end.
Oh, right, yeah,
And he's
that's
like, "Fuck yeah!"
See it, man.
He probably likes it. Well, there you know. It's. I think that was probably added into the movie to just try and drive home how different the society was to, you know, it's more surrounded by Stallone's character when you've got these two coppers that are like, I'm a hot dog, and Stallone is clearly not enjoying it. I think it's maybe
24 hours of adverts on a radio station.
yeah.
It's like, what? Man, these guys are crazy.
Excellent.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's cheesy, it's great, it's endlessly entertaining. I just hope by 2032 We're not actually living like that.
Well, we can hope. It's definitely one of the quintessential night.
It's entertaining to watch. It would not be entertaining to fucking live in it. Would
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, yeah.